Good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to Extol Live, presented by NWSB, otherwise known as New Washington State Bank. I'm Angie Fenton. We've gone on a little bit of a hiatus from our Friday live streams, but we're back and we actually have a packed house today. We've got all kinds of guests who are in here, and coming up just a little bit later, we'll share how you can win a $50 gift card to one of our favorite places, Ready, Set, Prepped. But one of our first guests this morning, he's the owner of Adam Paul Salon, and he's actually going to do a haircut this morning. I'm going to step over here where he is prepping Carmen right now. Forgive me for walking right in front. Adam, who did you bring with you today?
This is Carmen. We've been seeing each other for about 5 years now, and we do a pretty cool shag. So
a pretty cool shag. So Carmen, you agreed to be here on Extol Live today to get your hair cut in front of the camera.
I did.
We appreciate that. What is it about Adam? Because I know that as we have gotten to know him, he is just a special human being.
He is very, very special. I first saw Adam in 2016 when we went to a salon to get our makeup done for a wedding, and I just kept looking at him and just loved how he did the person's hair. And I'm like, how can I get him into my hair? Because once I'm with a hairdresser, I'm very loyal to them. And I didn't know how to break up with that person. So then they called me, and they had, they couldn't do hair for a couple months. So that was my opportunity to stop at the salon. That same day I got that phone call and made an appointment with Adam, and the rest is history.
Oh, well, we're going to get an opportunity to hear more of your story in general, but what is it that you're doing here today? And this is the first for Extol Live. We haven't had any haircuts.
Well, I'm very happy to be doing it.
We're excited about this.
We always do some sort of version of a shag. It's very rarely the same haircut twice, just because that's boring. So we try to make it fun each time. So today I'm actually making like star-shaped sections. And
when you say a shag, what is a 2022 version of a shag?
Very textured, very layered,
Okay.
Lots of movement and shape.
Okay, lots of movement and shape. But in addition to this, and we're, like I said, going to check back in with you in just a little bit, you're also here for one of our other, she's not even a guest anymore. She's a member of the Extol team, Chef Liz Martino from Mesa Kids Cooking School and all kinds of other things. I mean, she's probably the busiest person I know and doing good all over the community. You're going to cook with her today.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a great time.
And maybe reprise a little, I don't want to give it away, but let's just say this. If you're a fan of Worst Cooks in America, Adam has a connection. You have a true connection to that.
This is redemption.
It's redemption time. Well, we love redemption here on Extol Live. Carmen, thank you so much for trusting our cameras. I know you trust Adam already for being here. We're going to have a ball on Extol Live. So I am going to go ahead and go over to the kitchen part right now, because we're going to dish while you start cutting. Works? All right. I'm going to step over here in just a little bit. Got a great crew here in our kitchen, as always. JD Dotson from Breathe 502, as well as a founding member of Extol Magazine, Extol Media, Extol, you're all things Extol. But we are also joined by Tish Frederick from Bea. Tish, who did you bring with you?
Today I brought my daughter, Jasmine. And I brought one of our Bea girls, Christian.
Glad to have you both. In just a little bit, we'll talk about the shirts that you're wearing, what's going on with Bea. But can we also show, we have probably one of our sweetest little guests who is with us, the one and only Olive Applegate. She's our daughter and a brand new kindergarten graduate. And happy graduation, Olive. I know you don't have a microphone on, but she's helping Chef Liz out, and we'll talk with her. And JD, if you don't mind sharing your microphone if we ask some questions. So what we love to do on our Extol live stream is just kind of dish a little bit. You had an exciting evening last night.
I did have an exciting evening. I watched a movie with a 6-year-old about zombies who danced and sang.
Okay, so it's a Disney movie, which means zombies in quote marks. Did you like it?
Yes, I
Olive
did.
says yes. Has anybody else seen the zombie movies? Christian, do you like the zombie movies on Disney?
I like the zombies movies.
Tell me that soundtrack is not awesome. Each one of them.
I love it.
Okay. All right. I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, it's kind of like vampires that sparkle and don't suck anyone's blood. I want my zombies to eat some brains.
You were so afraid. Well, okay, you said that. I'm like, they're not. It's Disney. They're not showing
I loved it.
those kinds of things.
I loved it. I really did.
You
I want to
did.
hear about your night, though.
I had a special night last night as well. So since Olive got to stay with the Goddads, I have shared before that I am a longtime volunteer of the YMCA. Josh Lewis is the youth sports director that oversees the Greater Louisville YMCA system. And I've been Olive's coach since I got roped into T-ball because they didn't have a coach, so it was either coach or no team. And then I became her soccer coach, and I've played soccer since I was 6, and it's a sport that has my heart. So I've coached for 3 years, and I will show you because it was really special.
Show it off.
I was one of several volunteers of the year, and
That's awesome.
I love this. I'm so afraid to hold this, but it's blown glass. I don't know the artist, but it's a Louisville artist. And so we got to go to Churchill Downs. Jason, my husband, and I had a night without the child and really enjoyed that. And then it was also the YMCA, they called it the YMCA Safe Place Services Turf Classic. It's their 29th annual. They're connected together. And we got to watch firefighters run, and I thought that the firefighters might be doing just a sprint. They ran the inside turf. I mean, that was a mile race, and it was so exciting. We had a really, really nice time. I want to say thank you so much to Josh Lewis, who, again, the youth sports director of the YMCA of Greater Louisville, but Delaware, he just took a new job at Delaware with the YMCA there. He will be at an executive level. He is going to kill it, and it's our loss. But Steve Tarver, who oversees the whole YMCA system, says that we're going to let him go and learn, and then we're going to bring him back home over here. So Josh Lewis, I appreciate him so much. And actually, a week from Sunday, now you remember I've got the partially torn rotator cuff that I'm doing all the PT.
Right.
I'm feeling good. I'm allegedly supposed to throw out the first pitch at the Louisville Bats game. I do not know if I'm going to be able to do that, so Olive may be taking my place with that. We shall absolutely see whether that's going to happen. Now, a couple of things. We've got a lot of different events that are coming up. Jeffersonville's Farmers Market starts at the Big Four Bridge this weekend, and Southern Indiana Pride is this weekend. Evan Stoner was here recently. You can check that out on our Facebook page. We shared that interview. That's going to be a great time.
It's going to be a great weekend.
You guys, Bea is going to be there.
Yeah.
It is going to be an amazing time. And then, I'm going to say this wrong, so help me out.
Cycluvia.
I give up. Cycluvia is on Main Street.
I don't know if that's right. I
It's
just
coming
made
to
that up.
Louisville. Cycluvia.
It looks like
yes,
Cycluvia.
That's Cycluvia. 2 to 6 p.m. on Main Street, and that's on Sunday. That's powered by Humana. We love it that they're shutting it down. It's all about, pedestrians, even if you're I don't ride a bike. I'm not comfortable. I hit things. So I'm better on my feet. Go and enjoy. We love our friends over in Louisville. Go and enjoy. Barry Uli Designs is open from 10 until 5. And on Monday through Saturday, go and stop in and see them.
Will there be running firemen?
If there are running
Sorry,
firemen,
once you said that, that's all I heard.
will there be JD Dotson?
Yes, there will.
But before we go to our first actual sit-down interview, one of the things that we love to just kind of share candidly is how everyone is doing. So it's fun to share events and great nights and positive things. But I don't know about you all. I have really struggled over the last week. Watching what has occurred, not just in Texas, but it's every single day. What is it, and this is a question for everybody, what is it, and let's start with you, Tish, that you do when things are so out of our control and you know that, but yet you feel the weight of that world on your shoulders. What is it that you do to lift yourself back up so you can lift others?
Honestly, so the last 2 weeks, I've just been watching the news, and one day I got so overwhelmed because I was listening to a mom's story, and she was talking about how she should have gone back to protect her child. And I remember dropping my kids off, and they're like, "Mommy, can you take me home with you after a program?" And I left them because school's not out yet. And so I put myself in her position, and I just wept. And I had to put on music just so I could lift my spirit and say, thank God that my kids are okay. And then just pray over them every day, because it's just sad. Like the state of the world right now, if you watch the news all day, it's so heavy and it's so sad. So I'll put on music just to lift my spirits, and I laugh and watch comedy, things like that.
I love that. Jazz, what about for you? What do you do to lift yourself out of that?
For me personally, my mom has helped me a lot. I normally make like a list of 10 positive things in my life that I love. And that really lifts my spirits. And then I listen to music, and me and my mom do this thing where if we're feeling really rough and we're feeling down, we dance it out. Have you seen Grey's Anatomy before?
Oh, yeah.
So you know how when they're dancing around, they're like, oh, yeah, we're dancing it out. That's what we do, and it makes us feel so much better regardless of what's going on around us. So, yeah.
Christian, what do you do to lift yourself up when the world just seems so weighty?
What I do is I use my Bay of values, and I, just try to take it out of my control and just calm down, listen to music, and I just try to put myself in a position like, hey, this is not in your control. So I just use my Bay of values, and I just calm down.
That's awesome.
JD, what about you?
Right there. I'll sit through the stupidest zombie movies, the most wonderful zombie
Is
movies.
that stupid? Is that a timeout? Does he go in the corner for that?
Being around this is this little human right
That's
here.
a little joy maker.
That right there, makes it all so.
Chef Liz, what about for you? I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot, especially, you are interacting with kids and adults. What do you do to pull yourself up when it can feel crushing sometimes?
It's funny that you can feel completely like ungrounded all while feeling like the weight of everything on your shoulders. But over the past year, I have learned to take a step back. I go to acupuncture with Sarah Beth Adele at Sacred Rose Medicinals, and that has really changed me because it forces me to spend 30 minutes quiet on me, which is important. I love listening to music. I love to dance it out. We do a lot of dance parties at Mesa Kids, whether it's just us employees or it's us with the kids. And then, I think about what I'm grateful for, and I work out. Like I go and lift, or I go and run, or do something that takes a lot of physical energy out of me. Feel okay after that. Get some fresh air. That's great.
I think those are all fantastic tips. I think a big part of it is not keeping it. When I internalize it and I don't
Let it go.
share it, I just acknowledging that you're not the only one. But I love the live, enjoy concept, because throughout history, despite the worst tragedies and the most awful, horrific events, people have found ways to live and joy, and I think that is absolutely necessary. And so I'm treasuring time with Olive and time with people I love and care about, and then just remembering sometimes it's kind of like a bad hair day. I'm gonna go with it. This is how I feel today, but I'm gonna keep on moving. Well, we appreciate you joining us for Extol Live today. We will tell you how to win a $50 gift card to Ready, Set, Prepped coming up a little bit later in the show. We've got an interview with one of our favorite people. Everybody's our favorite people. I'm not even going to lie, but we do. We have an interview with Allison Uhl. She's here in studio. But first, a word from our sponsor, NWSB, otherwise known as New Washington State Bank. Since our humble beginnings in 1908 as New Washington State Bank, we have offered banking the way you want it. Now known as NWSB, we have branches in the communities of Henryville, Charlestown, Borden, Jeffersonville, Sellersburg, Scottsburg, River Ridge, New Albany, and coming in 2022, a state-of-the-art branch in downtown Jeffersonville. As a local bank, all decisions are made right here in Southern Indiana. Our customers enjoy the personal relationships,
and we value opportunities to show community support throughout the region. At NWSB, we offer myriad services and modern technology, from online banking to mobile apps with check capture. And we are always here to serve you face-to-face with a smile. At NWSB, you'll find banking the way you want it.
Thanks for joining us for Extol Live. We have Adam Christian of Adam Paul Salon inside of Bolt and Tie, who's joining us this morning with Carmen, and I'm in awe. We just talked to you a moment ago, and look what you've already done.
I'm fast.
You're fast, and it looks fantastic. So what do you do next, Adam?
Well, now I was getting ready to like smooth her bangs out a little bit because I had them hidden out of the way. And then I'll trim her bangs up, and then I'm a little bit picky, so I'm just gonna go through probably each individual hair and shape and cut as I need.
Okay, that looks stunning. I'm going to let the master continue working. I'm going to step over here. We have Allison. Well, Allison wears a ton of different hats, that's for sure. Allison, I mean, you are in real estate. You are the president of the board of the Arts Alliance of Southern Indiana. But today we asked you to come on to talk about Hospice Health's Dancing with Our Southern Indiana Stars. The event is on Tuesday, September 13th at Huber's. You were a part in terms of being one of the dancers before. What was your experience like?
It was probably my most favorite fundraising opportunity I've ever done. I completely went outside of my box. I'm not a dancer. I had an amazing time doing it. My dance instructor let me think that I was in charge, but obviously I wasn't.
Who did you dance with?
Damien Pataluma.
Okay, yes.
Love
Oh, yes.
him. But a lot of my personality came out. You know, I had a ton of friends and family there that saw me, and the biggest thing for me was that my parents and my friends, they know that I do a lot of things in the community, but a lot of those things involve like going to galas and such, but they actually got to come see me that day. And the best thing that ever happened that evening is my parents and my in-laws and my children, they had a front row seat, and my 15-year-old son, who at the moment I did not know had torn his ACL right before he got there, he was like, "Mom, that was the best thing ever. You are so cool." And to have a 15-year-old say that to you, and they actually got to see what we did, and hospice has affected my family, and it's just an amazing experience. And to raise the amount of money that we were able to raise, like in 6 weeks, like I was just praying that I could raise $10,000, and I raised like over $30,000 in 6 weeks. And it was so much fun.
So what happened to the ACL? When did he finally tell you?
After the event was done, and I got beat, of course, but that's okay. That's not what it was about. But I saw him limping out, and I was like, "What's going on with Caden?" And they're like, "Well, we didn't want to tell you, but he tore his ACL right before this." So they thought, and they confirmed it like the next day.
What a trooper.
Yes.
Now, okay, when you say you got beat, keep in mind what that actually means. She just said she raised $30,000. So when you get beat, it has nothing to do with your dancing. It's all about the fundraising.
Exactly. Because I got all 10s from all the judges when I danced.
I mean, of course you did.
I mean, you were one of the judges.
I know that.
So
I remember distinctly. You were amazing. But when it comes to the winner in this, I mean, we've said it. Jason and I are dancing, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But the winner in this is Hospice Health, and so it's somebody's going to walk away with the trophy, and they have raised the most, but ultimately the goal is to raise awareness and to raise the funds for hospice. In a nutshell, for people who don't know what Hospice Health does, because it affects so many families in our community, what is the primary function?
The primary thing that hospice does is they work with families and individuals who have chronic or severe illness. And a lot of times hospice The coverage is covered by Medicare, Medicaid, insurance companies. So your hospice team that is working with your family member, medication, equipment, like if you need a hospital bed or anything like that, all of that is typically covered by your insurance. But what our event does, along with hospice, is it helps pay for the things that insurance doesn't pay for, like community grief counseling. I had a friend whose husband passed away suddenly, and they could not get into a family therapist, and hospice was there to able to provide therapy. If you need, some funding to help with something in your home with someone that's ill, their employees, the coverage doesn't. The insurance does not cover things like that. New technology, everything that we raise at our Dancing with Our Southern Indiana Stars event, it stays in Southern Indiana and it goes to our community members. And I think that's why it's so important, because I know a lot of times when people give, you don't know, you think it's staying in the community. This is 100% staying in the community, and it's for your community members who, like I said, are fighting chronic and severe illness, and and you just want to be at home when you're ill like that. Absolutely. And be around your loved ones. So I think it's a really important event that we all team up and we support, and it's touched my family, and I think you'd said it. It's touched your family. Absolutely. As well. So, and they were a godsend when they were with us.
And friends as well. I mean, while we didn't, haven't taken the services of, for instance, grief counseling, Jason Applegate, my husband, who is my dance partner in this, and I'm smiling about that because we're having some fun with this. But Jason was married before, and his wife was diagnosed with lymphoma, and within 6 months she was gone. And he understands that grief, and he understands the necessity of having an organization that you can rely on for something that could be, debilitating and beyond. But there are so many other resources. We're dancing with, I'm going to say, in honor and in celebration of the life of Bobby Caesar. His son, Scott Caesar, has given us the blessing. Bobby was a longtime fixture in the New Albany community. He was somebody that Jason had known his entire life. And Bobby was a city councilman who actually kind of helped walk Jason through until now Jason's president of the New Albany City Council. So Bobby is going to be our motivation. Scott Caesar and his wife are behind us, and Scott had said that he wanted his dad to be able to die at home once they knew that he was going to pass. And unfortunately, the hospital wasn't able to get an ambulance. And hospice, though, was a connection, and so donations and things given in Bobby's name was very important to Scott, because he wants to make sure that he can help hospice in any way so that other families don't have to go through what he went through.
Exactly. And I had a very similar situation that we talked about. My uncle was in the hospital. He was dying of melanoma, and he wanted to die at home. And the day that he passed away, he was actually sitting up in bed, and he was talking to everyone coming in. And I will tell you that hospice did everything that they could. They were there talking. They were talking to me because I was with them. They were talking to his wife. He had brothers and sons who were, because there's a lot of behind the scenes things that are happening with hospice, and they were doing everything we could, and the same thing happened. The ambulance got there to take my uncle home, and he took his last breath before he got to be home. But I can tell you the services that they provided for us up until that moment, they were impeccable. I mean, they walked in and they could tell we just needed a little bit of happiness because we watched my uncle decline so quickly. And our hospice advocate brought us in a therapy dog, I mean, it was just, they just know what to do, so.
Okay, switching gears just a little bit.
Yes.
Allison, what are some tips that you would give for all of us? Because there are dancers who are dancing solo, and then there are dancers like us who are dancing couples. What are some tips you would give us on, let's say, the dancing front?
Have fun. you know, don't judge yourself because
I am judging my husband. I'm sorry.
well, yeah, everyone.
He's judging me, Allison.
No, well, you know, have
But
fun.
have fun.
And that was the big. I had so much fun. It was crazy. Like my husband would be recording me, and I'd be dancing, and I would try to show him the moves, and he just kind of stood there. So he was like my statue, and I kind of danced around it. But it was just so much fun.
So have fun. with
Have
it.
fun.
What about when it comes to fundraising? I mean, to raise $30,000 in the time frame that you did, 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
That's amazing.
I think I raised 33,000. So
And let that be stated for the record, because you earned every single one of those donations yourself.
well, and don't be afraid. Like talk about it. One of the biggest things that I did is I got a breakdown from Hospice, and I asked them, you know, what does $50 help cover? What does 100? And so I did Facebook Lives, and typically before I would do a Facebook Live, I would get a donor, and if I raised so much money, they would match it. Talk to your businesses. The biggest impact I think we had was that money stays in Southern Indiana, so it's going to impact someone who is going to donate. It's going to impact them or someone that they know closely, and I think that's one of the big things too. And don't be afraid to ask. Everyone says that I'm a hustler when I fundraise, and I'm really always nervous. But you just have to think about what it's for. You know, tell your story. I told my uncle's story, and when it's got meaning behind it, people will help support you.
Well, that means that's great advice. That means the world hearing that, and those are great tips, not just for Hospice Health, but for anybody who's out there who has a nonprofit. Those are really, really great ideas. So, quick, September 13th, you can purchase tickets. You'll see it all over the place. I encourage you to follow Hospice Health on Facebook. They're unveiling all of the different dancers. But you said about supporters, this looks lovely with what you're wearing. We got the memo today, I think, on the blue. We want to thank Abersold Florists for this beautiful, beautiful bouquet. We appreciate them and their support because we're able to present a Friday live stream that then gets repurposed in a variety of ways, including appearing on WBKI and cutting segments like this so that we can reach a larger audience. And so support is absolutely imperative. And I also want to say, so Jason and I are dancing together, and Pam Lumley, who is on the committee, she's the chair of the committee this year. You don't say no to Pam Lumley. Love her so much, but she asked us separately, and Jason and I both gave her the same answer. We work together, we live together, we raise a kid together, and now we're gonna dance together. And then of course we said yes. But we had some caveats, and the one, I have that partial tear, but I'm getting better every day. I'm still working it. And so just no matter what happens, whether it gets worse or not, I said, I'll strap myself, in, and we're gonna dance. We just knew with our schedule going over to Louisville every single week, Jason with city council, both of us with the business and all the other things we do, we needed to stay in Southern Indiana. And they said, that is fine. And so we have 2 people who stepped up as volunteers. Todd Sharp and Brittany Humphrey are going to be the ones who are our dance instructors, so you can definitely expect fun.
I can't wait. I'm hoping we're going to see a little wobble in there.
Oh,
I heard that's her dance.
If you don't know my affinity for the wobble, I encourage you to check out our Facebook or YouTube channel to see our initial video that we shared, kind of introducing what we're doing, why we're doing it. And I do believe one of our now fired staffers called me 50 and inappropriate for doing the wobble. He's not fired. I'm not 50 yet. When I'm 50, I'm going to wear it emblazoned. I'm going to have it tattooed all over the place. I'm going to be proud.
Embrace
it. But you don't round up ages, Colin. You don't. And it is never inappropriate to do the wobble, but I'm betting that we are going to do the wobble. But I do have to say this, and I'd love, so Jason Applegate and I, we're calling it Team Applegate, even though my last name is Fenton. We're going with Team Applegate. It just sounds good. We have recruited some people who are supporting us in our efforts. Todd and Brittany are among them. But I have to say, when we were first approached and we had the meeting here at Extol, Pam Lumley and Kelsey Chu from Hospice were here, and I was all in on what's called the Foxtrot sponsorship. There's only one, it's a $10,000 one, and it's essentially the presenting sponsor. And I said, so if you only accept a check on June 1st, and there was a time I think last year where somebody got it at like 6 in the morning. I said, so that's 12 a.m., right? June 1st. And they said, yes. Well, I will tell you what, that check was in Pam Lumley's hands. And I stayed up, and I am an early to bed, early to rise. That $10,000 check, she had to take a photo and send it to Kelsey, and she included me on it, 12:03 a.m. Thank you, thank you, thank you. NWSB, otherwise known as New Washington State Bank, they stepped up to the plate. Right there, you see Pat Daly from NWSB. He is the CEO. Sid Whitlock, the president at NWSB. They are the Foxtrot sponsors. You're going to see them incorporated. We couldn't be more thrilled that they not only took what was a humongous ask. I have never even asked somebody for a tenth of that, but to ask for $10,000 to support Hospice Health, and I know Hospice is thankful for that support as well.
We're very thankful. Sid is my neighbor.
Oh.
I feel like you should incorporate him in the wobble. He'll appreciate me for that.
Do not give our secrets away, Allison. Do not give our secrets away. I know Pat, I don't know if Pat's going to be in for it, but Sid, we're coming for you.
Sid will do it. I know where you live, Sid.
And sometime we'll share our story, because we would not be here as a company. We were facing our doors closing, and this isn't the time, but I've shared it before, but we'll share it another time. We wouldn't be here. Our company would have ended in the midst of COVID had it not been for NWSB stepping up and believing in what we do. And the fact that we now get to say with everything in us, Dancing Hospice Health, dancing with our Southern Indiana Stars, presented by NWSB, makes me so happy. So, Allison, thank you so much. Great tips.
Thank you for having me.
I'm taking notes in my head. We love having you here. We'll also see you tomorrow at Monarch Festival at Mount Fest.
We'll be there from 12 to 8 at the Monarch Festival.
It's going to be beautiful and a wonderful time. We also appreciate all of our sponsors, and that includes one of our favorite, located right in Corydon. Hello to Bert Hodge and all of the crew at Heritage Ford.
My name is Bert Hodge. I'm the general manager of Heritage Ford. When I was a child, I stuttered and was dyslexic. I started my career assigned to a junior position on a destroyer, and ultimately I commanded 5 ships, 2 minesweepers, 2 frigates, a SEAL commando ship. I got a lot of exposure to some of the world's greatest leaders. When I retired from the Navy, it was with the intent to join my father here at the dealership. My dad has been an important part of this community for 30 years.
The business has changed tremendously since then, but our moral values have remained the same.
This is a business where honor and integrity matter.
If I'm fair to my customers, they'll come back. If I'm fair to myself, I'll be here when they come back.
I'm proud to have served my country, and I'm proud to sell Fords to my community.
Thanks for joining us for Extol Live. I'm Angie Fenton. This is JD Dotson from Breathe and Move 502. And this is Olive Applegate. You brought along a little helper for today.
I did. So, Liz talked about working out, helping us get through stuff, which definitely agree with. And hanging out with this, I'm like, best of both worlds right here. So she's going to be my helper today.
Okay,
so
put us to work here. What are we doing? Because again, we talked at the very beginning, we were dishing about what are ways to kind of lift yourself up when you feel the weight of the world, and everybody mentioned a few different ways, but exercise was one of them.
Exercise, and now that she's out of school, and there's a lot of people with kids out of school, so we're going to work out together. We're going to do a partner workout with my buddy. We practiced this today, so we're going to see how this goes. So we have our water because we like to hydrate. It's summer, right?
What's happening?
We practiced today with lids.
Okay.
We're going to do it without. So I've written it down. We're going to do an imam, and Olive's going to tell us, what does imam mean?
Oh, let me grab this for you real quick, okay,
We,
Olive?
we did lots of practicing today.
That was a mom fail.
What do you know what imam stands for?
Everything.
Kind of. Every minute on the minute.
8
Every minute on the minute.
So every minute on the minute, which she did point out to me that there's no T in there for every minute on the minute. That's what we call it. She's very smart.
Hello, kindergarten graduate right here. Birth this.
So we're going to do every minute on the minute. It's an 8-minute workout. There's 2 of them. So I've written it down. We're not going to make you sit through watching us for 17 minutes. We're just going to show people how to do it, right?
Show us how to do it.
You ready? So the first, at the top of a minute, if you've got a timer or watch a clock, at the top of a minute, we're going to do 2 squats. We're going to do 4 squat sits with a halo, because she's an angel, and 6 thrusters. And let me show you those. Olive, you remember this? Here's something a little different. We practiced it with lids. We're getting rid of the lids. Take your lid off. Throw the lid over there.
She just said, uh-oh, so
Yep.
did mom.
So very carefully, we're going to squat, and our goal is to not spill any water. So we got to be very careful. Feet straight ahead. Hold it out. Here we go. 2 of them. 1. Look how good she is. 2.
Good job.
Now, do you remember the next one? This one's a little harder. We're going to squat, sit, and we're going to do a halo, and 4 halos. So the halo goes around the head, right? Very slowly. We're still in our squat. There's 2 that way. Now we're going to go the other way. Don't you spill that on your head. This way. This way, 2. Now, do you remember the thruster? Here we go. Ready? Thruster. We're going to hold it here, all the way down, up. She's so good. We're going to do
You
6
to
of
tell
these.
me, other than torturing the mother, what is the cup?
So-
Is this for technique?
It's for technique. Basically, if you've ever worked out with a 6-year-old, also I can't count and talk at the same time. We are doing 6. If you ever worked out with a 6-year-old, which we've done here on the show, it can get a little chaotic, right? So now we actually kind of have to think about what we're doing, and we have to do it slowly so we don't spill any water. So that one was pretty easy. So we're going to do that 8 times. Every minute we do that little movement, that little 3 movement.
Okay, so then what comes next?
We're going to rest a minute. So
Okay.
we need some rest. Now, the next part, we're the same thing. It's an 8-minute. We're going to do burpees. And burpees are never anybody's favorites. This child is really good at burpees.
Now, are you doing burpees with water?
We're going to do burpees with water. But do you remember how we practiced? We're going to put the water down, and we're going to jump over the burpees. So we're going to do burpee on one side, hop over it, and do a burpee. I'm going to let you do it.
I
Do
think
it.
we need a camera just on the water.
Yeah.
I have complete faith in my
She's
girl
gonna do
here,
it.
But I'm going to go get the mom.
Face me. I have faith in you. She can do it. She's so good. Okay, burpee. Watch this child's technique on burpees.
Okay.
Go for it. Good. Look at that. Do another one. Don't you kick that water. Perfect. We're going to do 2 of those. And then we're going to do 4 sit-ups. Do you remember our sit-ups? Okay. Sit by me.
Again with water?
Again with water. We did these. We practiced. We did not spill a thing. And there were lids. Okay. You ready? Here we go. We're going to hold it up, remember? There we go. There's 1. 2.
Oh.
You're doing great.
You're doing great, Olive.
4. And our last one is a plank. You ready?
Now there's
Yeah.
no water in a plank.
Yes, there is, Angie. There's always water.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's set the water down here. You ready? Here we go. Do what I do. Get in the plank. Okay, you ready? Pick up the water. Take a little drink.
Oh,
These
that
are-
deserves some applause right there. Who is this child? Good
So we've
job.
tried to do this without water earlier.
But resting.
And you know when you're trying to do a squat and you've got all that 6-year-old energy, it can get a little chaotic. So the water slowed us down. It's easy to tell someone to slow down and take your time, but actually doing it is a little harder. Unless you don't want to spill something, then you kind of have to, right?
I'm so proud.
Give me a high five. Don't leave me hanging up here.
That was
All right.
absolutely awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
JD, how can people find you and your partner, Sarah Tremolli?
Sarah Tremolli, breatheandmove502.com. We do programming all week. Chef Liz is going to come work out with us on Monday. We do a body weight class, drop-in class. We do breath work. We've got yoga tomorrow at 10:30. Ecstatic dance on Thursday. So I know you girls like to dance. Dance it out. So yeah, all the things.
Okay,
So,
absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Olive, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're here. Can we put that cap back on those
yeah,
waters?
we'll get rid of the water. Promise.
Well,
No
one of the other
spills.
places that we'll be at this weekend is the Arts Alliance of Southern Indiana's Monarch Festival at Mount Fest. Here's a little quick sneak peek. And by the way, tons of people, great weather, and you can actually have a true butterfly
experience,
and
yeah.
support the arts. Arts Alliance does so many things throughout our community, but take a look.
Save the date for the Monarch Festival at Mount Fest. Join us June 4th at Mount St. Francis for another spectacular event featuring fine arts and crafts, live music, an extraordinary immersive butterfly experience, tantalizing food trucks, adult beverages, a kids zone with inflatables, booths, games, and so much more, all at one of the most picturesque places in our region. The Monarch Festival at Mount Fest is 12 to 8 p.m. June 4th at Mount St. Francis. Visit monarchmountfest.com for more details.
Thanks for joining us for Extol Live, sponsored by NWSB, also the Foxtrot, sponsor of Hotspurs Health, Dancing with Our Southern Indiana Stars. We love NWSB, and also Adam Christian of Adam Paul Salon. He brought along his client, Carmen. Wow. The before and after. Now, Adam, when we were prepping, and you always have to do pre-production, he said, oh, it won't be that much of a transformation. Wow.
There's just a lot on the floor.
I mean, but the cut and everything, I don't know if we can we actually turn Carmen just a little bit so we can get the full effect? I mean, so explain what you just did, because it's a 2022 version of a shag. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so I just bring everything just completely directly off of the shape of the head and just cut it.
Just
Just
cut
cut
it. Just go with it. So
yeah.
what comes next?
What comes next? So, we all love that second day hair because it's a little dirty,
Yes.
where her hair is a little bit clean. So we're gonna make it a little bit dirty.
And what are you using?
That's actually a mousse because I grew up in the 90s and I love mousse.
I still love mousse.
Then we're gonna mix that with a little bit of volumizing styling balm. Just put a little bit in, and you don't want it to get too dry. But then I'm going to take a boar bristle brush, which will help smooth, but also help control, and just kind of dry that out.
Does that give it some extra va-va-voom, that lift?
It gives it some grit. It gives it some.
Looks
Grit is the appropriate way to say
grit?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm just impressed with what you've done.
And then it's Carmen, so we're not going to get it high enough. So.
Oh, Carmen, are you a go big or go home? Gosh, I love that. I love that.
And
I'm stuck in the 80s.
The higher the hair, the closer to heaven. Thank you.
Well, and that's one reason why we work, because I didn't want to go to hair school till after I saw Steel Magnolias. So,
Oh, we've got a Steel Magnolias fan over here.
so flat hair makes me sad.
So now we're just, I mean, what do you call this? Zhuzhing?
We're zhuzhing, we're shaking it out,
Adam will be on the other side in just a second, but you'll be able to see the volume that he is adding here. Adam, earlier Carmen was explaining how she had a stylist, and I think one of the things that anybody who really has a relationship with their stylist, hairdresser, whatever you want to call them, knows that it is terrifying to break up with one.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Well, the way I kind of describe it is we go through all your major life events with you, and we also spend more like contact,
Yes.
like physical contact, than even say most of our doctors do. So that feels very personal, plus it is very intimate, but you know, the major life events is one thing I really focus on. You know, I've done someone's child's first haircut, and then I did her hair for her funeral. And
So, I mean, you explore the gamut. You had an opening because yours wasn't able to take you for a couple of months, so boom, enter Adam.
Exactly.
I already know the answer to this question, but have you had any regrets?
Not at all. I love Adam. He's always trying to teach you something about your hair, how to fix your hair, so he's definitely a teacher always.
Have you ever had that experience where you walk out of a stylist and, you know, they've done your hair and you're not quite happy like you thought you would?
Yes, absolutely. And I've never had that happen with Adam.
What does that make you feel like to have? I mean, it's trust, because you're handing over a lot to somebody when it comes to, okay, who is going to take care of my hair? But to hear, I mean, Carmen isn't the only client who says those things about you.
actually, the day I met her, of course, she already knew who I was. I walked up and introduced myself, and she said, "Well, I know who you are." And I'm standing behind her, talking to her through the mirror, and she's telling me that story. And I had that like one single 90210 tear coming down, and it's validation, especially, you know, you hear a lot of, "You can't do this," or "Why are you doing this?"
Right.
Because I want to. That's why. And
You stepped out of a great salon, a bigger salon, and decided to go out on your own with Adam Paul Salon. I mean, what made you take that jump? Because there are people right now who are saying, "I'm not satisfied where I'm at. I'm not satisfied working for other people, but I don't know if I'm ready to make that jump into working for myself."
Well, I'll tell you, I have worked for some very wonderful people. I really just needed to be me. Yeah. And now I get to be me.
What is your biggest piece of advice in that, though?
The scariest part is that it's scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you just embrace it?
You just embrace it. You trust yourself, which is the other scary part, but you just don't let yourself listen to that.
You do have to let those go. People can find you at Bolt and Tie.
I'm currently in Bolt and Tie. AdamPaulSalon.com has a list of all, I say ours because I run it with Jason, but
Yes.
You know, you can book online and all my services.
Well, we appreciate that. Carmen, can you see yourself? Have you seen how fabulous you look here?
I told her I didn't bring a mirror.
We need a close-up. Can we get a close-up here on Carmen? Because, wow, you looked amazing when you walked in, but I mean, I'm absolutely in love with what you just accomplished, that's for sure. Well, Adam's going to stick around, and Carmen is as well. Adam's going to be cooking with us coming up in just a little bit. Speaking of cooking, one of our favorite Southern Indiana locations is Ready, Set, Prep. They have a tremendous story of how they went into business and have a brick and mortar. And if you leave us a comment right now, we've been talking a little bit throughout the program about just how do you find ways to lift yourself so that you can lift others? What are ways to kind of snap out of that when you feel like the world is leaving that big weight on your shoulders? Leave us a comment on our Facebook page and let us know, what's one way that you live in joy? We're going to take all of those different answers and we're going to pick a random winner. We will name that winner of a $50 gift card to Ready, Set, Prepped on the next live stream that we have. So go ahead and leave us that comment right now on our Facebook page. But for here, go ahead and take a look at Ready, Set, Prepped.
Ready Set Prepped came about. It was not even something that was real. I had already left the restaurant industry that I loved because I had a daughter that was becoming school age and needed something more conducive. So I left that job to go into just a standard 9 to 5, Monday through Friday job. And I had been a member of 4-Rail CrossFit over in New Albany, and periodically they do nutritional challenges, and part of that was meal prepping. And so while other people were just doing, basic baseline meal prep, I kind of wanted to tie back my culinary experience to just making it healthier and making it look pretty. So I'd post my food on my social media, and you get enough people saying, "Oh, that looks awesome. I would pay you to do that." And then you kind of think, maybe I should do this on the side, And so I started doing that, and it kind of snowballed. And by the time I got all of these orders, people wanted to keep telling their friends, and my house was just full of meals every single weekend. So I kind of had to take a step back and think, maybe I want to jump into this full time. And so I left my 9 to 5 job, and it kind of snowballed from there. My husband has a full-time job as well, so he kind of took the role of the main breadwinner so that I could go into this. So he's kind of my #1 fan and my #1 supporter. And when we first started, we wanted to just go all in. We wanted to find a place to lease out and kind of, just put all of it in there. And we quickly learned that that was not a smart thing to do. We went through so many different plans, even just to get financing for this place, and just to kind of be willing to adapt and change even through COVID, like the pandemic. Luckily, our business model was set up to where we didn't have to adjust very much for our business, but we actually thrived in that because we introduced home delivery because most people weren't going out to eat, and most of our meals you pick up and go and reheat later anyway, so you're not like sitting down in a restaurant or anything like that. Most people know us for our meal prep, and most of our meals are they change every week. We have usually 8 options, so it's usually 2 breakfast options and then 6 that can kind of interchange between lunch and dinner. And then we also do our own house-made snacks. So we do protein donuts and these energy balls and things like that, just so people can have a healthier snack. And all of our stuff is made in-house. We don't use any processed foods or anything like that. We make all of our sauces, vinaigrettes, everything from scratch, so you know exactly what goes into it, and makes it easy for us to modify things. So all of our meals, they may not always be gluten-free, but we can modify them for those people that need gluten-free meals or vegetarian meals, low-carb meals, stuff like that. I think one of the most rewarding things is being able to get to know our customers. We're very fortunate to have, we've been around almost 3 years, and we have people that have been with us since the beginning. So when we do 800 to 900 meals a week, having the same people come back week after week after week, it says something. It says that, hey, our food is good, and getting to know people. We've got, customers that we've seen their children grow up, and, we've seen them switch jobs, and just people aren't just an order number to us.
Thanks so much for joining us for Extol Live. I'm joined by Tish Frederick, this is Jazz, and this is Christian, and I want to make sure that we take a minute here. You just saw a video about Ready, Set, Prep, and they're giving away a $50 gift card. All you need to do is just leave a little comment on our Facebook page and let us know, what is it that you do to bring yourself joy? What is it that you do to lift yourself? We had lots of different suggestions, from exercise to meditating to being around people to just accepting it and making sure you're moving forward, and a whole host of other ways. So leave just a little comment, and I can see that we have a ton of different comments on our Facebook page now. So leave that, and then we will name the winner of that $50 gift card at our next Extol Live, which is presented by NWSB, which again is also the Foxtrot sponsor for Hospice Health, dancing with our Southern Indiana stars. We're so excited about that, that's for sure. But switching gears to a nonprofit that we love, I see your little arm in there, all of that, okay? I see that. But switching gears to what we love, Bea, Tish, just remind people, because you've been on with us before, how and why you started Bea.
Yeah. So I started Bea, Beautiful As You Are, for my beautiful daughter, who at one time did not believe she was beautiful. She didn't like her skin that she was in, and I wanted to teach her how to cope with the stress she was feeling in a positive way. So I created Bea for her, not knowing that it was for the world, and it's like really exploded.
Well, we appreciate Samtech Cares because we've been able to utilize some of our resources to help get the word out. You and I have a discussion because there may or may not be some board opening positions, but Samtech Cares really helped to, solidify that relationship. Dr. Josh Kornberg, who is at Caesars Foundation, is another big champion of yours. But it has gotten so big. You left your full-time job.
I did. I was very scared. I cried. The day that I quit my job, I sat in my car and I just wept. But it was like a step of faith, like you're going to do this, and the worst case scenario, you go back to work. And we're going on 2 years, July 11, and I'm still off the job, so.
Now, where is your center located? Because that's kind of a special story in and of itself.
Yeah, so we are in Clarksville, Indiana, Green Tree Mall. We're in the plaza next to JCPenney's and by Mr. Gaddy. And it's just a beautiful space. We have the decompression room with the salt lamps and the massage chairs. Look, Christian's shaking her head.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You all are wearing some shirts.
Yes.
What do they signify? Camp 2022.
Yes, so we used to do a Girl Love Yourself Empowerment Conference pre-COVID. So then last year during COVID, we did our camps. We made it a smaller camp, but it's an empowerment camp. It's almost a boot camp because you get 8 hours of intense self-esteem building every single day for 8 hours a day. But it's to empower the girls so that when they go back to school, they know who they are, they're confident in their own skin. We can't stop the mean girls, but we can teach you how to cope with it.
Absolutely.
And that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I was asked to MC your event that it was on the Mary Miller. Mary Miller?
Yes, Mary Miller Steamboat.
On the Mary Miller Steamboat, and one of the things that you gave people, and I'm not even going to pretend to try to say the name without it in front of me.
Kintsugi.
And this, and it is Japanese.
It's a Japanese form of art. So they break the clay pot, they glue it back together, but then they fill the cracks with gold to represent how we're broken, but we can still be beautiful and repurposed in a beautiful way. And that's what we teach our girls every day.
And I am going to plant something in there, and I've saved that, but I love that concept, and it was so powerful. But really what was powerful was the program that you had. It had all kinds of different girls who performed a variety, poetry and dance and spoken word and sharing stories and jazz. I cried my makeup off when you sang. That was when I felt like, you could just feel in the room, people as they were watching the girls perform and share, you could feel the energy in the room shift. It was already an amazing event, but when you opened your mouth, it was electric. How was that for you to, stand up there and sing, but also knowing this is how this organization was created and now it is blossoming?
Well, I've never told my story in public really to that many people before, so I was extremely uncomfortable, and I'm just gonna be honest. However, even before I had even gotten up there and spoken, to see the girls get up there and tell their testimony and tell their story about what happened, it's like this, I would have never seen that in 8th grade. I thought Mom had created Bea just because she felt bad for me and she wanted me to have friends. And now we're in, 2022?
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years later, and we've touched all these people, and all of that was born out of my trauma and what I went through. So when I got up there and sang, I was trying real hard not to cry, because I saw a whole bunch of, there's a whole row of people in the front that was just, profusely crying. Yes. I'm going to close my eyes and just tell my story, and I'm going to walk off. And then it was insane. It felt good to finally step in that power that I can tell my story, and I've grown from where I was before.
It was truly magical. Christian, for you, what does Bea bring to your life?
To me, I think Bea brings to my life is probably I get to meet different girls every day. I can help them I get to help them build their self-esteem while I'm building mine too. And I really like how Miss Tish and Jasmine like really gave me, like, I dealt with mean girls at my school, and now it's like, whatever, you're just saying that.
And you are in what grade?
7th.
And you are in 7th grade. I mean, I remember when mine, who's 6 now, came home and asked me, is my hair ugly? Mommy, is my hair ugly? And I went, oh my goodness, your hair's amazing. And it turned out there was a group of little kids who had told her that. And I just went, I thought I had until, teenage years. And we talk a lot about that. I loved hearing you say that, Christian, because I'm also all about converting mean girls.
Yes, absolutely. Me too.
I think
I call
we
it
can
rehabilitation of the bully.
Yes, we can rehabilitate
Yes,
the mean girls,
absolutely.
mean guys. And we also know this, I mean, especially Tish, you and I know this, it doesn't necessarily end.
It doesn't. I tell them that. When you get to be an adult, there's still mean girls. There's still bullies, but it's how you handle it, is who you choose to surround yourself with. If the mean girl displays herself, she's cut off immediately.
Yes.
But that's how you protect your bubble.
You are allowed to create boundaries.
Absolutely.
I can pray for you.
Absolutely.
And then I can also, though, exactly what you said, Christian, go, oh yes, this isn't about me.
Yes.
This is about you. How can people support Bea Best?
Yes, so they can go on our website, beacorp.org, and then you can click on the donate tab, and we're always looking for donations, but we also need volunteers. So what makes our summer camp so special is it's volunteer ran. So we have people doing a sewing class, we have a salsa dancing class this year.
Did you get the sewing machine?
Yeah, we got 5.
course
So I
you
put
did.
out a call for one sewing machine. We got 5 donations. So now we can have a full sewing class.
That
during
is
camp.
that community.
Yes, our community is amazing. Join our group page. We ask for stuff all the time, and the community answers. Oh, I've never asked and haven't received. Like, we have a great community of supporters.
Jazz, if someone wanted to know, they're new to Bea, what would be one reason that you would say to them, you really need to take a look at what we're doing, at what my mom is doing, and consider supporting?
I would say if you're having problems with your self-esteem, if you're bullied, if you're marginalized, if you feel like you're not a part of a group, Bea is absolutely for you. Like, I've met some of my lifelong friends, and I'm 21 years old, finally. But I've met some of my lifelong friends in Bea. So I feel like if you need a community of people that are like-minded, then Bea is absolutely for you.
Absolutely. And Christian, can you end on this? What does your shirt say?
My shirt says, "Girl, love yourself," and empowerment camp, and I can't wait for the camp to start.
Oh, I am so
This
glad.
is her second year in the camp.
I'm so glad that you're learning the tools that you need to, and that you have fallen in love with Bea, just like I know Tish and all of the volunteers and staff have fallen in love having you and the other girls around. Like Tish said, you can go to their website. You should definitely go to Facebook. You asked for one in a Facebook post, one sewing machine, and of course you got 5. I love the heart this community has. Speaking of hearts, our community has a heart for Southern Indiana. Louisville, we love you too, know that. But we're primarily focused on Southern Indiana. It's kind of, I saw Southern Indiana in parentheses from one of our local news stations that said all the top things to do in Louisville and Southern Indiana. We just reverse that, but we take those parentheses off. We love you, Louisville, but we asked a few people, what is Southern Indiana? Here's what they said. What is Southern Indiana?
What defines Southern Indiana? Community. The people.
Rejuvenation. Local businesses. Sports. Animals and people. Small town. Culture. Community.
Great place to own a business.
People.
Tight-knit community.
Tradition.
Friends.
Neighborhood gatherings.
Food is awesome.
Southern Indiana is home.
Watch This Is So In Saturday mornings at 7:30 on WBKI, the CW.
This is So In, 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on WBKI. We appreciate, that's WDRB's sister station. We appreciate WDRB and WBKI. We love, love, love creating new episodes. You'll see some new ones coming up that we're pretty excited about, coming up at 7:30 a.m. on Saturdays. And then we always share them on our YouTube channel and ultimately Facebook as well. We're in the kitchen. We're dishing with Chef Liz Martino from Mesa Kids Cooking School. Let's establish this relationship first. Chef Liz, you and Adam have known each other. You're actually friends and have been.
I think it was love at first sight, to be honest.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So we've known each other, I don't know, since probably 2015 or 2016 maybe.
Yeah,
It feels like that.
at least.
Yeah. So Adam's great. When I have time to make it to anywhere other than work, Adam takes care of my hair. I love it. But more than that, he's a really good friend. I love him and Jason. But he's a horrible baker. So we're going to try to give him something. We're going to give him.
No segue.
No.
There's no gentleness. He's just a horrible baker.
By the way,
He could be a great baker,
That's okay.
just a horrible person. So.
That could be, but he's not. He's an amazing person. See, we just kind of like the little Southern Indiana, switch him around. So
he's a horrible baker, but I mean, you established this while auditioning for one of my favorite shows. Adam, tell that story.
Worst Cooks in America is hilarious, and I really feel seen watching this show. And I was just scrolling through Facebook one day and saw this recipe for like a chocolate peanut butter cake. And I am 93% made up of peanut butter, so I'm like, we have to do this.
Okay.
And so my husband and I go to the store to get all the ingredients that I did not write down but only lived in my head. So that didn't go well. And so we get home, and I wanted to do it all by myself, like, you go sit down. And I started improvising, and
you ended up with a nice old chocolate peanut butter brick, right?
Brick. Yeah. So I ran out of butter, and I'm like, well, what does butter do? It's a fat.
Yeah.
Probably some sort of bonding agent.
Not quite.
And so but I'm like, oh, but it's like but it's peanut butter.
Yeah.
I'll just use extra peanut butter.
There you go. Didn't quite work. Well, that's okay.
How are you making this right, Liz?
So I found a very simple, easy recipe. We're basically going to put everything in one bowl and mix. You can't mess up, okay? But I will tell you, there are certain fats that you can substitute for other fats. When you are out of eggs, you can use things like applesauce or avocado or something like that. But you will notice that the more you put in of like the fat, the denser it's going to get, because it's really probably very moist. But we want to keep a nice balance. So we're going to do, whoopsie, I did this. So what we're going to do is here, Adam, I'm going to let you mix this in a little bit. This is a drop-in easy recipe. We have flour, we have brown sugar, we have white sugar, we have baking soda.
Coca-Cola?
Not quite yet.
Did you say Coca-Cola?
I don't know what that is.
It's coffee. That's a secret ingredient that I think that is important to put in all of your chocolate cakes. It's okay if it's clumpy. Okay. So we've got all of our dry ingredients here, and then we're gonna, forgot our cocoa powder. And then while you're doing that, then what we're doing is whisking instead of using like a sifter. You can use a sifter, but you can also easily break up the bits of the flour and everything like that and incorporate everything just by whisking.
But wouldn't use a sifter, that would just take long.
It does. That's why we did this. See?
Yeah,
don't question her.
I know,
Don't question her.
I know you, so that's why we're doing this. So here we've got some buttermilk. We've got some vegetable oil. We've got some vanilla. We have just a little extra chocolate. You can't go wrong with that. And then secret ingredient is I love to use coffee. And as always, I'm always using Berserker Brew because I love it and it has a great flavor. That coffee, the caffeine, first of all, caffeine wakes everything up. It wakes up flavors and all kinds of really yum stuff. And
Not a shell in there at all.
Not a shell at all. So you're just going to whisk that up.
Which is why I didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
You're out? Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, hold on one second. I'm going to have you wait. We're going to whisk that up until it's easily combined. And it's okay if it's just a little lumpy. It's no big deal. There we go. Oh man, that looks so good. And today we're going to do cupcakes, just because cupcakes bake a little bit quicker. So look how easy that was, right?
It was so easy.
Very easy. And if you want, you can add some peanut butter to this if you want to give it a little flavor. Or, like we're doing it in this case, for moisture, for flavor, for texture. I mean, we'll bond a little bit, but this is not going to be your bonding agent.
I don't know why I thought bonding was so important, because you mentioned eggs. I'd also ran out of eggs. And I'm like, well, what do eggs do?
Keep things, they do. They're going to bond it together. Yeah. So we're just going to put a little bit of peanut butter in here. and we're just gonna whisk it up just to get a little bit of peanut butter flavor in there as well.
So you went to the store to bake, and you didn't have eggs, and you ran out of butter. We are the same person.
Right.
Just FYI.
And there's
Because
more.
same.
More to that we'll get to.
So here's what we're gonna do. All you're gonna do right now is just fill these up about halfway or so. Remember, they're gonna rise, okay? So you get a few in there filled up, and then I'm gonna show you how we're gonna incorporate the peanut butter into this recipe. So I took peanut butter. What I really like to use when I'm baking with peanut butter is a natural peanut butter that's just a little bit more oily, because it's gonna be just a little bit creamier and just a little smoother and just a little bit easier to handle. But in the meantime, we've baked these cupcakes already. I'm gonna do one, and I'm gonna let you finish out, okay? And so we baked the cupcakes earlier, Miss Olive and I, and we're gonna ice them.
Did you fill some in the middle?
We did.
Ooh.
We did. So we're gonna add, we're gonna add our peanut butter icing that we made earlier.
Which is delicious, by the way.
Oh, it was so good.
I may or may not
like
have
the consummate taste
licked the bowl
tester.
repeatedly.
Very good.
Every
Olive.
job in the kitchen is the most important job, JD.
Thank you.
Every job.
Look, I can't bake or cook, but I can eat, obviously.
Well, what's the point of cooking or baking if nobody's going to eat it, right?
Exactly, that's
and
my
you're going to do the
point.
dishes. That's even
And
better.
I do the dishes. So.
Yep. So then we're going to take a little bit of chocolate sauce. We're going to drizzle our chocolate sauce. Are you ready for your chocolate sauce?
Oh boy.
All right. Remember, you got to hold it up here.
Let me hold that for you.
Yep. Don't get nervous. I said the whole studio just goes. I work with kids every day, so I'm used to big messes. All right, there we go.
Well, then you're going to love what's happening over here.
Yeah. Looky there. But look how fast we put that together. I'll give you the recipe.
And it's everywhere. That's fine.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, that's kind of my fault. I brought the wrong cupcake liners. They're really big. All right,
I'm
let's
going to
move
be
on.
honest, from the shot that you're seeing on your screen right there, you look like a pro, Olive Applegate.
She sure does. Well, you know what? It's because she's a Mesa kid. She
she
does our
sure
decorating
is.
classes and baking, and then every chance we get, we like to bake together too. All right, ready?
Oh, that looks delicious.
And then, and top it with just a little pinch of peanuts, okay? Look at that. So we're going to put this in the oven at before we do that, we'll get this out of the way.
Good job.
We used our spoons to taste while everyone was not looking. I got to get a fresh spoon. And we're just going to take this peanut butter, and we're just going to dollop a little bit in the center. You can mix it in.
You're going to mix it.
Yep, so you're going to kind of just take this knife,
okay.
and you're going to swirl it, all right? You're done. Oh, beautiful. And listen, if a 6-year-old can decorate these cupcakes, Adam, you can too.
I
And you are beautiful.
I challenged that.
That was such a subtle. That was that was a friend slam right there.
There we go. So we've incorporated, and then we're going to put them, there you go. And then that's perfect. We're going to put our cupcakes in for maybe 15 minutes at 350. And then when they come out, they're going to look just like this.
So only 15 minutes. And so when they come out.
That's why I do cupcakes. They just don't take very long at all to bake. When they come out, they're going to be beautiful. We're going to let them cool.
And then let them like this.
And then how do we decorate them, Olive? What do we put in our icing? We put
Peanut butter, cream cheese, butter, sugar, vanilla.
And how did we mix it up? Did you use the electric mixer? Was it fun? This kid is an icing maker. I think I need to hire you for summer camps. Does that sound good? I don't want to make icing anymore.
Olive, stop looking at yourself on screen.
It's perfect. Olive, are you ready to taste your cupcake and taste them, see how it went? There you go, Adam.
Oh.
And then I'll pass these around if that's okay, Chef
Yes.
Liz.
There you go.
Thanks.
We do have plenty of paper towel in case anybody needs that.
That's taste.
Anybody?
It's so soft.
Yes.
Let me see what you did, Olive.
Cheers with cupcakes.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Cheers. That's for sure. I would love, actually, I'm going to put a couple people on the spot before we go. If we could have Catherine come on over here by JD. Francesca, if you want to come on over here as well. We first and foremost appreciate all of the guests who joined us today. Carmen, you look fabulous. I don't know where you're going at noon on Friday, but I think the day is done. If you have any work, you're too beautiful to go to work, all right? Go and have a great weekend. Allison, thank you so much for talking to us about hospice health, Dancing with Our Southern Indiana Stars, once again presented by NWSB. I am very excited about that. That means that we have $10,000 and $33,000, so we're on our way, but also that hospice is supported more than anything. And wanted to thank the Bea crew. Tish and Christian and Jazz, thank you so much for taking the time. Support Bea. We're going to sit down. I can't wait. We also owe that donation. They have a donation coming from our Extol charities to support Bea. That's we've picked some charities that are our heart causes: Hospice Health, Bea, Hope Southern Indiana. And we just want to continue to use our resources to support what you're doing. I believe in it. I believe in you, and I'm just so appreciative. Adam Paul Salon, obviously he does amazing work. You just blow us away. Absolutely love it. And Chef Liz, we have missed you. It is so good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
Olive, how does it taste?
Good.
Good. We've got one more. Did you both? Okay. And then over here on the end, I don't know if we can go ahead with, whether it's Mila or Colin who are behind the cameras, if we can go ahead and get, JD's going to squinch down just a little bit. I just want to introduce a couple of new people who are on the Extol team. We have Catherine Harrington, who is an amazing photographer. She is a videographer in training. She's a content creator. She's a designer. She's a musician. I found that out this week. She plays like 5 different, mandolin and violin. Her happy place is in a mosh pit. The louder the music, the happier Catherine is. So you will see her around Southern Indiana. I've known her for years, and she joins our dream team. That is an absolute pleasure to have her on board with us. Hello to Julie Koenig, who is at home, our sales manager. You've met her before. It's been a while, but we love Julie as well. Fred Reynolds, who is on assignment today. We love Fred, but we also have added Francesca Hartledge to the crew. She is a social media guru. We are very fortunate because if you look at our social media, I'm, as the CEO of the company, it is, the buck stops here, and that means I also have to take the insult. And when people point out that our social media isn't where they would expect it, well, that's because 90% of our time we're creating for our clients and their social media or presentations or events or doing public relations and marketing and video and blah, blah, blah. And there's only so many hours in the day. So thankfully, Francesca had accepted our offer to work with us this summer to get our own social media up to par. And so we are excited. And also you might see her and her sister, by the way, in our upcoming wedding issue. That's coming very soon. So we're excited to have Francesca and Catherine on board. JD Dotson, Breathe and Move 502. You're eating cupcakes, and that is why you move, isn't it?
All day, every day, yep.
All day, every day.
I work out so I can have cupcakes and run with firemen.
I
can't get
absolutely
over that.
love
I
that.
Can't get them out of my
Can't
head
get it out
either,
of my
don't
head.
worry.
And also, just a reminder, we're going to let this go for a couple of days, but tell us, how do you make sure that you are not letting the weight of the world pull you down? Where this Extol Live lands on our Facebook page, then can you still hear me? Is that okay? Can we run that a little louder? Tell us how you ensure that the weight of the world doesn't knock you down. What's one thing that you do? Leave that comment on our Facebook page. We're going to take those and randomly draw one winner. I see some of your answers already. Jason Daly, I see you on there. Paul made some great comments on there. We've got some people who've already responded, but leave us that comment about what you do to lift yourself and then maybe how you lift others as well. And one lucky winner will win a $50 gift card to Ready, Set, Prep. Thanks to everyone. Have an incredible weekend. Monarch Festival at Mount Fest, 12 to 8 tomorrow. Southern Indiana Pride is here. Jeffersonville's Farmers Market at Big Four is starting. So much to do. Whatever you do, we hope you're so into it. Thanks for joining us for Extol Live, sponsored by NWSB. And we may as well go out with some furry friends. Have a great weekend.
Here at the New Albany Floyd County Animal Shelter, you can come in and adopt an animal, but it's best to go ahead and fill out an application online. It makes the process so much more speedier. And then you can come in and visit with the animal. We have quality time that we're able to allocate and spend time with you and make the match perfect. And then you can come in, enjoy your time with the pet. The staff has an opportunity to tell you what they feel about the pet, how they experience the pet, and it's a wonderful experience all the way around. It really gives a personal service to adopting an animal. And if you're making a lifelong commitment like this, you need that personal service. You need to get to know the animal, and that's what we're here at the New Albany Floyd County Animal Shelter trying to do.